Hey babes, welcome back to my channel. So today we are learning all about blending and brushes. This is blending 101, not just for beginners, but for everybody that struggles with blending, which is a big topic that people ask me to cover. So I decided to film a video dedicated just to blending. So I created the look that I'm wearing right now, and I just focused on the eyes, so none of the other face is going to be in this video, just the blending. And I did use color just strictly for the video, so you can change out these colors to absolutely anything. It's just easier to demonstrate using color. So if you struggle with blending and you want to see some of my tips and tricks on how I get a seamless blend, then just keep on watching. Ready? I already have my eye base on. I use the P. Louise base, and I don't like to set my base when I'm trying to do a really dramatic glam look, just so all the pigment really sticks to the tacky base underneath. So I did not set this, I just have it placed on my lid and buffed out on the edges. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with my darkest color other than black. I like to go in with black last, just so it does not get too messy in the blending process. So I'm going to go in with this purple with a Morphe M506 brush. So this is a really small, dense brush, and it's perfect for getting it in the crease. It's perfect for precision, packing on the color, and just really controlling the pigment and where you place the product. So when I'm trying to get as much pigment as possible, I'm going to be just tapping that product in and pressing it into the skin. So I'm packing it on. I'm not worrying about blending it yet. I'm just pressing that into the shape that I want. So I'm just going to go for a rounded eye. So I'm just placing that in my crease. Look at how pigmented and pretty that purple is. This is like a perfect purple, honestly. So I put it a little bit higher than my natural crease so you can see it when my eyes are closed. You want to see, when my eyes are open, you want to see all of those colors when your eyes are open. So what I'm going to do before I add my next color is just go on the edges of that purple and blend it and soften the edges just the slightest bit. We only want to blend this about 20%, because if you blend it too much, things will start to get messy and muddy. So we're just softening the edges, and what we are softening is what we're going to blend with our next shade. So we just lightly softened those edges, so it'll be a lot easier to blend in our next color. For the next color, we are going to use this bright pink. So I'm tapping off any extra product, and I'm just going to work this right on the edge of this purple. So I'm just working this right where we softened the edges, and that's where I'm going to be adding this color. So you never want to blend all of the colors together. You kind of want them to be in stages. So I'm just blending this very, very softly in small circular motions in the area that we just softened the purple. So you want to have a really, really light hand when blending. You can't really notice when you are watching videos of makeup artists, but they have a very, very soft hand. My hand is, I'm not like gripped. I don't have like a super crazy grip on this brush. I have it super, super lightly. So it's just like the flick of my fingers that's going to be gracing my skin. I'm not pressing super hard. If your bristles are bending, you're blending too hard. And again, I'm just going to be softening the edges of the pink, so it'll make it a little bit easier to blend in the next color. And we are going to be blending this out just a tad bit more than we did with the purple. So as we get to the lighter colors, you don't need it to be quite as precise, and you want it to be a little bit more blended. So we are going to be moving up in brushes as well. So we use this super tiny precise brush to pack on the color when we wanted it super precise, super compact, and in that one area. We didn't want to blend it too much. The next one that we used was a little bit more fluffy, so we had a little bit more room to blend. And then for the last shade, we are going to go in with something a little bit fluffier to cover more surface area and to blend this out and smoke this out a lot more. So I'm just taking this bright yellow for the lightest shade, and I'm just going to again tap off the extra, and I'm going to work this right on the softened area of the pink. So I'm not going completely over the pink to cover it up. I'm not going to even really touch the purple, I am just going on the edges of that pink to blend those two colors together, and then the rest I'm going to blend upwards. I always like to have at least 3 colors for every look that I'm doing. I just find that that's the easiest way to blend and it looks the nicest, and I always leave my black to last. So anytime that I'm adding black to add depth, I'm gonna add it last, just so in the blending process it doesn't get really muddy with the black. So as you can see, now that we blended that out, the pink has disappeared a little bit because we blended it. So we just have to go back down the stages. So now that I added the yellow, I'm gonna go back down to the pink, then back down to the purple, and then back up until I hit the desired pigmentation and the color payoff that I want. So I'm just gonna go back up and down until I hit the exact color that I want. When you blend, you are gonna lose some pigmentation. So that's why it's really important to have a super light hand and to not move too much on the previous shade. You just want to blend the edges together. Since I added the pink, I'm gonna go back in and add a little bit of the purple. See, the yellow I want to be a lot more blended. I want the yellow to be 100% blended out. I want the pink to be about 70%, and then I want the purple to be about 20%. Okay, so I'm at my desired color payoff. Now, if I wanted to make this a little bit deeper, have a little bit more depth, I would just add a little bit of black to the outer corner. So I'm gonna do that right now with a very precise brush. So the first one that we used, I'm just gonna add a little bit of that just to the outer corner. So right under that purple. I'm just gonna go back in and blend out the edges of that black with the purple. Try not to blend out black with black. Try to always blend out black with a dark color. So I'm blending the black out with the purple. I would not try to just blend out the black because that can get really messy and black is so hard to blend. So I'm softening the edges of the black with the purple. You never just want to blend all of the colors together. They each have their section and you're just using the softened edges to blend the two colors together. That way you get all of the colors showing and they don't all mix together and make a mucky disaster. I would not be able to get precision with this brush because it's too fluffy and it's too big. There's no precision here. This is going to be a blending brush. Now, if you look at this one, it is a lot less fluffy. This one bends a lot easier, and this one is super sturdy, so it really packs on color and it really has precision, and you have a lot of control with something like this. Whereas if you're going for a blown out smoky eye or just trying to soften a color, you wouldn't be able to blend it with something that is this harsh because it's just not soft enough and the bristles aren't blown out enough as this guy. And then taking this white, pure white shade, I am going to be packing this all over the lid. So I did everything off camera that has nothing to do with blending. Now we're going to work on the under eye. So it is very similar. We're going to be using similar colors, and I'm going to go in with the purple to begin with once again, and I'm going to take a flat top brush like this. This gives me a lot of control, and exactly where I place this brush is where the product is going to be. It's not going to be spread out like a big fluffy brush would do. So this is perfectly the shape of your bottom lash line. So I'm going to work this very, very tight into the bottom lash line. So next I'm going to take this little tiny compact pencil brush. So it's not quite as stiff as the flat top brush, so it will smudge it out a little bit, but again, it's not going to blend it out too much, so we really are keeping the product in the area that we want it. So I am just gonna go and smudge that out just a tad before we go in with the pink. So next I'm gonna go in with the pink using a little bit of a bigger brush, and just on the edges of that purple again, I am going to be blending that out. Very, very lightly. I'm going back and forth in windshield wiper motions, so I'm not doing little circular motions underneath, just because there's not enough space for it. So next I'm going to take the yellow and do the exact same thing. The same as the top, I'm going to go back in and just brighten up the colors and make them super intense. Then I'm going to go in with the black and the flat top brush, and I'm just going to work that so tight into the lash line, just on the very outer corner to again add depth. Very lightly, I'm just taking the purple and smudging out the edges of that black. So I'm just going to finish the rest of my face, and then I will be back with a couple more brush and blending tips. So I just want to kind of recap everything that we just learned. So these are the brushes that I would normally use for a typical makeup look. So this one would be for the lightest shade, the transition shade, the one that I really want to blend out. It's super fluffy and it will cover more surface area. This guy is still fluffy, so it'll still blend and soften the edges, but it's a little bit more tapered and it's a little bit more precise, not quite as fluffy as this one. So you can get a little bit more precision with this guy. And then we just go down the ladder and these ones get more precise and more precise. So you would not be able to blend out something with this guy. This guy would be more for precision and to really pack on a color and to really focus a color in a certain area. You are going to have a lot more control with this one, whereas this one is a little bit fluffier, so you don't have quite as much control. Go in with a light hand. Do not go in with too heavy of a hand when you're blending. You want to very, very, very softly touch the skin. You don't want your brush head to be physically bending. If that is the case, you are blending too hard and you need to go in with a lighter touch. If it helps, just hold your brush with 2 fingers instead of all of your fingers, just so you can really lightly blend across the skin and you're not tempted to go in too heavy-handed. You want your blends to be in stages, so do not just blend all of your shades together. This just reminds me of swamp water when you mix a whole bunch of different drinks together and it just makes this disgusting colored drink. Not that it always tastes bad, but that is what happens with your blend. If you blend all of your shades together on top of each other, it gets messy, it gets muddy. So make sure each shade has its own area on the lid and you're just softening the edges and slightly blending the edges of each shade together so they seamlessly blend together. Blend in circular motions, no longer windshield wiper motions unless you're doing the under eye. So on the top of the lid, you always want to do small circular motions like this, back and forth. And then as soon as you have a little bit less product on your brush, that's when you can blend it up a little bit higher and go, higher into the brow bone. Add your black last to avoid any muddy, messy blending. Always just add your depth, your deepest color. If you're adding black, add your black last. When you're working with the 3 shades, you want your first darkest color. So in my case, it was the purple. We want to blend that out 30%. Not fully, we just want to soften the edges. The next shade, we want to blend out about 70%. And then the 3rd shade, which was the yellow, we wanted to blend out 100%. So we are not blending all of them out fully. We want to really pack on that color, really intensify it, soften the edges, add the next one, blow it out a little bit. And then the 3rd one is going to be the most smoky and blended. Invest in some good brushes because this will literally make or break your makeup look. You do not need a million brushes, but you do need a couple eye brushes that are good for blending. So you always want to have more than one. You want to have a big fluffy one for your lightest transition shade to really blend it out. You want to have a little bit more of a precise one and then a really, really compact one as well. So those are all of the tips that I have for you guys today. I really hope that you learned something. Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope that you get to take some of these tips and practice at home and improve your blend. I really hope that these tips help. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know if there's something that I missed or a tip that really helped you out. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and I'd also like to hear what you guys want to see next from me. Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and follow me on my Instagram at Mady Kennedy. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys!